couple of weeks ago at the announcements, I announced for one of our youth ministry nights, an Edge night, that it would be entitled Stump the Priest. Effectively, I was the priest that they were trying to stump. And some of the questions that were asked were quite beautiful. There are a few trivia questions, obviously, that did stump me. But there was one question that I thought was quite profound. And it's a question that maybe you might have for yourselves. And that is, why did Jesus choose bread for the Eucharist? It's a great question, and it certainly had me stop and ponder for a few moments and then respond. With bread, very simply, is around the world is nourishment. Everyone has bread. It's a staple food. The bread that we use here at Mass is even more simple. No yeast, no leaven, just wheat flour and water. And so when we look upon this bread, we see something very simple, food for the poor, to whom Christ brings himself to. Christ, whom was rich, became poor so that we might become rich. And so this very simple piece of bread that we have and we offer in thanksgiving to God. And as the priest prays either audibly or silently, "Blessed are you, Lord God of all creation, for through your goodness we receive the bread we offer you. Fruit of the earth and work of human hands, it will become for us the bread of life." And so in this very simple piece of bread, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. First, it is the work of human hands. And so when we bring this simple piece of bread to God, we're giving thanks for human labor represented by the work to be able to bring us this bread. For those who sow the seed, till the soil, fertilize it, harvest the grain, and then those who prepare the bread. But there's more. The fruit of the earth, gift. Human labor cannot produce the fruit of the earth. Only the Creator can give us this. And so we give thanks to God for what He has given. The rain, the sun, all of that we give thanks to God for, because we can't produce that ourselves. More so, we can't produce the water that helps us make this bread. And so we give thanks to God for that gift as well. And so in this very simple piece of bread, we find that it represents all of creation. The gift of God from heaven mingled with the work of human hands. Now we come to understand a little bit more why Jesus would choose a simple piece of bread that represents all of creation to represent Him. Creation, with all its gift, aspires to go beyond itself. When we offer in thanksgiving to God this very simple piece of bread, He in turn gives us His body, blood, soul, and divinity, the God-made man. Creation now pointed to, projected towards divinization. Creation moving towards unity with the Creator. Remember that this is the God who created the universe. The sun, the moon, the stars, the billions of galaxies with billions of stars out of nothing. This is the God who told Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that if you see Him, you will die. We shouldn't forget that this is the God who revealed Himself as a trinity of persons united in love. This is the God who made Himself man so that we can become like God. The God, Jesus Christ, who offers Himself on the cross and rises from the dead to open the doors of life for us, to rescue us from slavery in sin and death, to give us true life in him. This is the God who transubstantiates this simple piece of bread into his own body and blood, the bread of life. This God desires to transform you. This God desires to be united to you. He does not abandon his people. He is God with us. And so when we come to encounter this very simple piece of bread that Jesus chooses to represent himself, really, truly, and substantially present in the Eucharist, we now come to know a little bit more about who we are, where we're going, and how we're going to get there. Who we are is God's creation, and he created everything out of his sheer love. And so he created us to be loved and to love. In this Eucharist that we encounter, we know where we are heading. Towards heaven, towards communion with God for all eternity. With this encounter with Jesus Christ in the Eucharist, we know how we're going to get there. Through him, through following him, through his sacraments, through his gift, his grace. He gives us his flesh for the life of the world, for me and for you. But there's more. Because when we come to encounter the Eucharist, when we come to encounter this very simple piece of bread, we also know that it's many grains that make this piece of bread. As St. Paul teaches us in his letter to the Corinthians, though we are many, we who are partake of the one bread become one body in Christ. God gathers us to him so that we can become like him, so that we can become his church, his bride. And it is for us then to receive this in communion of faith, communion of governance, communion of love, and to go forth into the world to bring others into this profound communion that we enjoy as the mystical body of Christ. In this very simple piece of bread that Jesus chooses to represent himself, really, truly, substantially present in the Eucharist, we come to know the great love story that he has for each of us. And that tiny white host is the greatest love story. And that story is not finished. It's still being written. And each one of us are called to be a part of that story. And so we are to respond to our encounter with Jesus Christ, present to us in the Eucharist, by giving him permission to transform our lives. Through our adoration of him, to know where we are going, to convert our lives to follow him. And when we bring him through our city streets in procession, we do that very truly, bringing the Creator to his creation, so that all might know that love of God and know the fullness of life that he gives to us as the shepherd, present to each one of us, for he is God with us.